Well, hello, it's Romania Black, and I have a new webcam. I have a new web camera, so this is gonna probably look different than a lot of other videos that you've watched on my channel, but yeah, I'm in more definition, so that's gonna be something I'm playing with. But yeah, so hi. I feel like I'm gonna be playing around with this webcam for several videos, but I was like, I'm in the mood to watch Steins Gate episode 16, and when we left off, we had quite a few things that we were working towards. Mainly that Okarin is planning on going to the US, and Suzuha made sure that Daru and Yuki are getting together. Mayuri is not doing well. I wish Okarin would recognize her as having problems, but here we are. So I don't have any comments that I want to talk about. There weren't really any comments on the last couple of episodes, but I appreciate you all watching. Hopefully we'll get some comments in the next couple episodes, but I do want to give a shout out to those of you who are talking about the series on my Discord, who are being amazing patrons, and that are those all over Patreon, thank you so much, but those in the philanthropy tier and the commission tier, you all are amazing, and I have a couple new names I need to say before we dive in today. So to Shimoyama, Sunspots, Jason N, username 123, as well as Alex Cornejo, Amorphosilica, Be Happy, Dana, Destiny Marie, Diana Williams, as well as Devorin, Damage3245, as well as Chewy, Ichu, Eric, El Freya, Lyndon, Lady Lulz, Ghostly Turnip, James, Jessica Cullen, Nicholas Poppy, Ian Davidson, Jack Witt, Violet Stardust, Rast, Rose Jennison, Murphew, Translucent Min, Zero Anti-Zero, Zachiel, and Meat Bun. Thank you all so much for your support. I greatly appreciate it. All of my love. So yeah, that's what I got. This is gonna take some getting used to with a new camera, but I'm ready to go. Ready to put this up here, see what we get, and let's get started, shall we? So we're gonna dive into episode 16 of Steins Gate 0, and we're gonna do that here as my dog puts a toy down for me to throw to him. We're gonna do that here in 3, 2, 1, and let's dive in. Well, the shit has hit the fan, so to speak, as we would say. But, it was only a matter of time until Okarin found out about Maho and Daru's escapades, and he handled it exactly how I thought he was going to handle it. I was like, he lost his mind, and it's so heartbreaking. Like, I kept wanting to reach through the screen and grab Okarin and just be like, why are you the way that you are right now? And the thing is, if you've watched Steins Gate, the original series, you know why he is the way that he is. Like, it makes sense. We've had those episodes to explain he doesn't want to go through all that again. But one thing that kept running through my mind the entire time that we were sitting here through this episode, the one thought that kept running through my head is that Okarin, you know, we've talked about like Chunbyo and main character syndrome, because Okarin in Steins Gate, that was the whole thing. He was like, I'm the protagonist. But the one thing that kept going through my mind was, you are not the only person affected by history. Maho, Daru, Mayuri, all of them also are being affected and have lives and their own thought patterns, and they're all trying to navigate this timeline too. And Okarin's kind of like, well, if I don't do this one thing, if I've made my decision, I've altered time and space, I've made it to where Mayuri lives. Kurisu died so that Mayuri can live, and now we can all have our happily ever after. But as Mayuri's pointing out, she's like, you are suffering. You are miserable. And because you are miserable, you don't want to relive those memories that have made you miserable, so you're staying away from the lab, and you're staying away from me, and you're staying away from Daru. But by doing all of these things to try to cope with the decisions you've made, you're actively ruining the things that you fought to protect. And it's just that I'm finally glad Mayuri told him. She's like, this is what you're doing. You're throwing it all away. I wish she'd have gone a little bit further, but she might by the end of this season. I wanted her to go a little bit further, but I was like, oh girl, you're right there on the edge of it. But she's so close. She's so close. But anyway, So I want to bring up talk a little bit about this. I was gonna say I said at the ED that with episode 15, Daru's voice actor was really good. Here in 3, 2, 1, he had a way of just like being so soft around Yuki and his voice. The voice actor, like whenever he was talking about him being like unattractive and all this, like you felt that. You really felt that with Daru's voice actor in the English dub. And hot take. I think Daru's English dub voice actor is better than the Japanese sub. Miyano and J. Michael Tatum are apples and apples. They're bananas and bananas. They're so equally matched. I really like J. Michael Tatum a lot, but I think I'm a little implicitly biased because he's speaking in English, so I can connect to it better. Miyano Mamoru just is made for this role. You forget that it's Miyano Mamoru. Like when he was yelling, I had to remind myself, I'm like, oh, it's Miyano Mamoru. Like you forget who it is as a voice actor because you're so caught up in the character, you forget that he voices other characters. Like that's how good he is at Okarin, that I just think of him as Okarin. I don't think of him as Miyano Mamoru playing Okarin. And I thought that he just did so good in this. So Vega and Altair, this episode's called Altair of the Point of Infinity. And it's like Vega and Altair. What does Altair mean? Altair is the brightest star in the constellation of Aquila and the 12th brightest star in the night sky. I feel like the 12th brightest star is a little on the nose because it's like in the 12th hour at midnight. I feel like there's, if you get into numerology, there's something to it. But yeah, it's kind of at the center point here. Is it near Vega? I want to say Vega and Altair. Vega and Altair. What is the connection between them? The two of the brightest stars in the night sky that form two prominent vertices of a giant summer triangle asterism. Shut up. Okay. And so then you have Deneb in terms of that. Okay. So, oh, it's the Orihime. It's the Orihime and Altair. Yep. Orihime is the princess. She's the deity. And Hikoboshi is the mortal, the cow, the shepherd, the mortal shepherd, the man. Aha. Okay. Which is talking about what Ruka was bringing up with Mayuri and Okarin being together. Mm-hmm. Here's the two star-crossed lovers, the Celestial Princess and Altair the Mortal. I love the idea of Okarin as Altair the Mortal because he, in Steins Gate, kind of had the ability of the reader Steiner of kind of making him seem like a god. So him being an actual mortal is really fun to play with. And then Mayuri literally being a deity. She kind of is. But then she ends up dying all the time in that series. So it's like, it's fun to play with. Now, I do know the romance. I couldn't think of the other person that it was Altair. I do know the Orihime romance because I've watched Bleach. And that metaphor was used quite extensively in that series. So I'm pretty familiar with the Orihime legend. It's just been a while since I've seen it in other anime. But I don't know. I don't personally ship Mayuri and Okarin. To me, they are like siblings. To me, they are like big brother, little sister. Like, that's how I view them. If you're a Mayuri and Okarin shipper, then this episode is like right up your alley, even though there's angst. But I'm not. I'm more of a Kurisu and Okarin shipper. And because Maho is somewhat like Kurisu, now that Kurisu's not in this world line, I'm more of a Maho Okarin shipper. But I mean, and Mayuri, her whole thing is, she doesn't necessarily maybe view herself as Orihime, like Ruka was suggesting, but she loves Okarin. Like, there's no doubt in anyone's mind that she loves him. Maybe not romantically, but she loves him, and she feels like he is moving further and further away from her, and she just can't stand that. So, sucks to be Mayuri in this episode. Truly. So yeah, we go back through the whole thing with the banana, the temporary phone microwave. I actually like Daru and Maho working together. They're pretty fun. Like, they get together and work. Their dynamic is pretty good. But this part here where she's like, Kurisu actually managed to put this together in a shoddy lab like this. One thing that Daru is not saying, that Maho is not putting together, is that it wasn't just Daru and Kurisu doing all this. Okarin was involved as well, and it was Okarin's talents as well as Kurisu and Daru. So she's neglecting the fact that Okarin had a pretty big hand. Like, Okarin and Daru were the start of all this. It was really Daru and Okarin, and then Kurisu came in and kind of elevated it after we got through the D-mails. So she's not really taking that into consideration. What does it say? /V super report. I don't know if there's anything. It says CPU. Interesting. I wanted to see if there's any like little things included on that. But yeah, meanwhile at the university, I would just again want to gently shake Okarin like an 8-ball, because like right here Mayuri is just miserable. She's miserable because she has at every moment tried to get him to interact with her and the others again, to try to make it somewhat like it was before. And it's heartbreaking because I feel like Okarin misses the forest for the trees with Mayuri, because it's like, you did all this to save her for what? And I wanted her, when she was at the park with him, I wanted her to say, what's the point of saving me if you're going across the seas to America? She won't do that because she's a freaking saint and she doesn't want to like make him unhappy. But I really wish she would have the gall to just be like, what good is me living and spending the rest of my days with you if you're leaving me all by myself? And not only that, possibly taking Daru with him. Like, I was floored when he said that they wanted Daru to come over. I'm like, that, if Daru goes over there, then it's like any chance they have of saving the world line is done. Like, done. It could even prevent Suzuha from being born. What if Yuki doesn't go back over there? What if it doesn't work out? Like, what, I'm like, Okarin, are you considering any of that? But he's not, because he's just focusing on himself. He's not focusing on anybody else but his own future and getting away from Kurisu and that memory, even though that's not legitimately possible. I also really liked this like shot here of the room. It reminded me of episode 2 when him and Kurisu were like lecturing back and forth about time travel and doing that. But yeah, they all leave, and then that's when he sees Mayuri. I did like this little like point here. I like Okarin is literally in mourning to the point where he has a black umbrella. He has, everything is just black from head to toe. He is mourning the loss of Kurisu still to this day. Everything is all in black. The umbrella's in black. The black bag is in black. Like, he is in his Johnny Cash era. It's really sad. And they're like, oh, well, they want to meet Daru. And she's like, oh, that's cool. And she, I don't even know if Mayuri gets the implication that they want Daru to go overseas, too. Because then she is literally by herself. And I'm like, Okarin, like, I'm sure in his mind, he's like, oh, well, she has her friends. She can hang out with Ferris and her friends and all them. But it's like, that's not the same. And if Daru and you are gone, then the lab will likely be shut down because, Braun isn't going to let it stay open while they're gone, and she doesn't have the money to pay for it. So they likely would just shut it down. And that's the end of everything. Like, did you all learn nothing? So yeah. So she's like, it'd really be good if you went and talked to him in person. He ends up taking the advice that she has. She's like, you should probably go talk to him in person. He's like, nah, I don't want to go back over there. But he ends up doing it anyway. So I think she gets that he did end up taking her advice. And she's like, well, I bet, it'd be better if you talked in person. A lot has happened between Daru and Yuki. There's so much sadness in her conversation. Like, she's not talking about anything that's going on with her, because there's not. She's just like, well, Daru and Yuki are getting together. You're moving on. I'm kind of stuck here. It's really sad to see her like, and nobody's asking her how she is. Like, Ruka's the best person for her right now. She's like, Daru needs you. And he's like, well, but next week. And then we get Moika. And Moika's like, nothing yet. I do love the little Daru bowing emoji. That's really cute. But yeah, and she's like, well, your normie life sure is taking off. And he's like, well, I wouldn't say that that's true. But since I got the chance, I might as well try to study overseas. And then Mayuri is so genius. Also, I love that she has the mint green umbrella. It's like a nod to her outfit from Steins Gate. I love that she ties this back. She's like, so is this something you want to do? Do you want to go overseas? Do you want to go to America? Or are you just running away? Because that's literally what he's doing. He's running away. She's like, are you running away? And he's like, yeah. And she's like, well, if it's something you want, you should go for it. And he's like, well, it could work out for Daru. And if I end up transferring, I can lend Hyajo-san a hand. It would work out best for everyone this way. He literally is looking at Mayuri as he says this. She's like, how is this working out great for me? like, is you saving me meaning you can't be around me anymore? How is this working out for me at all? And she tries to, like, show him this picture of Suzuha in Daru's shirt with the hat, which is really cute. And it's like, this lab coat is the one that Okarin used to wear, by the way. So it's not the lab coat that was Kurisu's, it's Okarin's. The new one is stored safe and sound. And so, you know, in this moment, this is heartbreaking. Because she's like, the one that was Kurisu's, like, we didn't get that one out. Because we know that you didn't want us to do that. And he's like, oh, it's no big deal. You could have used it. And in that moment, Mayuri's like, what do you mean we could have used it? She's like, that was Kurisu's. Like, that has sentimental value to you. She's like, what do you mean? I want Mayuri to get mad at him. Because she's like, what do you mean it doesn't matter? What do you mean you're moving on? She's like, no, like that. When I tried to give it to Suzu-san before, you got angry. And he's like, oh, did I? It's just a cheap coat. I think that there is a difference between, I know in some anime, they talk about how, like, the characters are growing up. And when you grow up, you kind of leave parts of, you know, your childhood and your youth behind. But this isn't him growing up to Mayuri. To Mayuri, this isn't him growing up and being more mature. She's like, this is literally taking something that's part of who he is and discarding it because he can't handle the baggage that comes with it. But people aren't like that. You have baggage. You have to deal with it. And she's just heartbroken. She's like, I gotta go take care of something. Oh, I hate it. I honestly kept wondering if something was going to happen to Mayuri and, like, the timeline was going to reconfigure where she gets hurt. I don't want that to happen, but I did wonder if it was going to be something that happened in this timeline. Yep. And then she thinks back to him, like, the whole reason he didn't want to repeat the future over again. I love Ruka. I love Ruka in this outfit. This is an unusual outfit for Ruka to be in. I'm not used to them looking so... They look like Shinji from Neon Genesis. They're looking very Shinji today. But also Ruka is super... Am I shipping Ruka and Mayuri? I really want to now. But yeah. And so Ruka, even though I want to ship Ruka with Mayuri, Ruka wants to ship Mayuri with Okarin. And she's like, oh, Mayushi is a delusional romantic. So she says, since I was a child, I wanted to become Orihime. I could see Mayuri as Orihime. And then you could be Okabe-san's Orihime. And she's like, no, I'm not saying anything about Okarin. And Ruka's like, well, you've supported him all this time. And she's like, Mayuri isn't the one inside Okarin's heart. Now, in the original world line, or the world line we're going to get back to, the Steins Gate world line, in that one, the reason why I don't like to ship Mayuri with Okarin is because in the OG world line, the Steins Gate one that we're going to get to eventually, that's the point of the whole series, Okarin's going to get with Kurisu. Like, that's going to happen. So then I don't want to ship Mayuri with him because then Mayuri ends up being sad because she doesn't get to be with Okarin. So in my mind, Mayuri loves Okarin. She's his best friend. She's going to support him and be with him forever, but she's not romantically with him like Kurisu is. So that's kind of my view. And she knows in this timeline that the woman that Okarin really loves, she's dead. I love this scene where Ruka grabs the umbrella and holds it for her. That's so sweet. I love that. Ruka being a damn gentleman, a damn lady. Love it. Being very chivalrous, regardless. So yeah. So, I like that. I'm like, Maho, girl, you just got a shower. Go get changed. Why are you standing around there with your towel? Go get changed. Don't have Daru be there at all. Girl, you should know better. But yeah, then Okabe comes in. And it was only a matter of time. I can't believe that Daru told him to get the F out. That is amazing. Yeah, that's amazing. He's like, I haven't even said anything yet. I'm like, but yeah, nope, not good. Not good, Cotton. So then and here's the thing. when Okarin says, well, don't you want to go to America? And Daru's like, do you know that my daughter is like right here? Do you know that my daughter could not exist if I do that? Do you know that I'm like just now getting with Yuki? I know Yuki's been to America because we saw that in the movie. He's like, but why would I jeopardize that? Like, are you crazy? Are you not taking any of that into account? It's not exactly on my mind. So, God, the bananas. Yeah. So what did he say there? He was like, there's a bunch of rumors about the facility I went to with Kiryu. So he goes, he's like, on the occult board, these guys just make shit up for a living, I swear. So Chestnut Rice and Kamehameha Sage, what are you saying makes no sense? Are you a normie or something? Your statement is asinine and absurd. So Chestnut Rice and Kamehameha, which one was that? Who is that supposed to be? Is that supposed to be Maho or is that Suzuha? And then the banana's out of the bag. That's when things get a bit problematic. Yep. Damn. He's like, surely not. Surely you wouldn't be experimenting. And then we find the damn gel nanas. Which luckily Maho says they weren't making D-mails. The D-mails were a problem. We've learned since then. We're bypassing the D-mails, going straight to the time leap. And Okarin's freak out is very understandable. Like, he's like, no. He's like, well, Okarin, you were all about naming things. You know, he's like, I told you this was dangerous and it shouldn't exist. If anything comes out of this episode, it's the fact that now they are all on the same page. Now Daru knows everything. Maho knows everything. Mayuri knows everything. Suzuha knew everything. Like, everybody's on the same page now. What this put me through. And Maho figures out everything. He's like, your own daughter even killed herself. Like, that was harsh. Like, you didn't have to bring Suzuha into this. Like, that was like the last thing Daru, because Daru I don't think even knew. This isn't the world line version of Daru that knew that Suzuha killed herself. So like you didn't have to bring that up at all. But he did. He did. Oh, he crashed out hard. Okarin definitely is the type of person that when he crashes hard. And he's like, will you not understand unless you go through it yourself? That was uncalled for. That drew the line. And then she's like, you're the idiot. Now, one thing I do wish is that if she just faded in the background, I don't like that her towel like keeps falling off her. Although, girl, do understand. Yeah, and legal lollies, let's not go there. No. So anyway, he's like, why'd you come to Japan? She's like, well, yes, we were working on the phone microwave. I'm doing it for Suzuha. So, okay, I'm glad they clarified this because now it makes more sense. They're like, the time machine has enough time to jump back 1 year. Not one time. Not one time. Only 1 year. So, all they have time for is to go back. Go back to when Okarin came back from her dying, from the time she took him the first time. They have that time to go back one more time, and that's it. And it's almost been a year since that happened. So, once that time has passed, they're screwed. Well, that adds stakes. That adds stakes to all this. That's not terrifying at all. Not terrifying in the slightest. But yeah, after that we go back. So, she's like, I explained it. And he's like, well, you should know what D-mails have done and what it means to change the past. If you go back, saving Kurisu means Mayuri dies. It's unavoidable. And, I mean, it's understandable why he would go crazy on this line because he had to experience all of that. And then when he says, do you want to be a murderer? That's when Daru's like, nope, we're done. Nobody wants to. You're being too much. It's brutal. Doesn't give you any right to trample over anybody's feelings. Yeah, he's like, we all know. I love Daru saying that Suzuha came here to stop World War III from happening. And Maho cared so much about Maki-sei she came to work on this. Nobody's doing it for shits and giggles. Yeah, I love that. I love that they're like, we are adults too, just as much as you are. We know what we're getting into. We know the risks. This isn't all about you. We are making decisions based on our own reasons. You're not the sole reason. You have no idea what she's been through for you. And he says that, I'm glad he said that about Mayuri too. That was good. Maho is a great kind of balancer in all this because she's not an outside party per se, but she's enough of an outside party that, like, between Daru and Mayuri and Okarin, she can kind of bring up some things and be like, hey, look, I'm just an outside observer, but you did say some dumb things. Although I do love that she's more fire. Like Kurisu liked Okarin a lot, and I think that her love for him kind of got in the way of some things, like of her fighting more for things. Maho's like, I may think you're cute and have a crush on you, but I'm still gonna like chew you out. And I'm like, yes, girl. She's like, I think better of you now for getting angry for someone else. Yep. That is such a good line that he's usually gentle, so it stings more. Like, usually people who are kinder when they get upset, it's like, oh, like you feel really bad. So yeah. So they go up to get some fresh air, and that's when he realizes that Mayuri had been there. He's like, this world exists because of the choice that Kurisu made. And so because of that, Mayuri can live safely. That's the world's law. So it's weird seeing Okarin get kind of like religious in this and attribute it to God's will, like the laws of causality. Like, that's kind of crazy. He's like, certain events converge as if orchestrated by God, and trying to change them challenges God, and God does not tolerate human arrogance. And Maho's like, well, I'm not into this fire and brimstone rant, but I'm not trying to provoke God. But she's like, I think you're wrong. She's like, I don't think you can determine. She's like, if there are laws dictating our world, then what's the point? She's like, everything is... And I like that she brings up, she's like, people act on their own free will. The world is a endless, infinite stream of choices that are forever colliding by. I like that she kind of points out, she's like, you're being kind of arrogant by thinking that just your, you know, the things that you're doing are angering God. She's like, no, I think that just, she's like, no. I like that she's like, I think that it's more complicated than that. You can't decide what is the law of God and what's not. The laws of this world are a formula. The formula makes the world possible. And if there's a formula, that means there's a way to solve it. I like that Maho's saying, like, you know, the world is just a big formula. We have to figure out how we solve it. And she's like, it's not going to be easy. And I think that what I like that she tells him is, she's like, you know, maybe you just didn't try all the angles and you assumed that there was no way around it. Maybe you need to try, which she's right. There is a solution. She's correct. He just hasn't gotten it yet. Yeah. And she's like, Steins Gate. If Mayuri lives and Kurisu lives and World War III is avoided, if that's Steins Gate, that's the formula. That's what we've got to figure out on how to get there. And Okarin's like, she's like, this world is full of infinite possibilities. It's out there somewhere. Look again. 1,000, 10,000, a million times. Find a solution. Just like you and Kurisu used to. And that's the problem, is that I think that it's easy for her to say because she's like, oh, just do this 1,000 times. But for Okarin, he's like, well, I've done it enough. I tried it enough times and it broke me. And I don't know if I can keep doing it. That's why I stopped doing it, because it was just too much. And she, you know, she's like, plenty of times, like, in Maho's mind, she's like, well, I've, you know, done these formulas and these problems with Kurisu over and over again, so I get it. And he's like, no, you don't get it. When people die, it's a whole different story. I like that they challenge each other. I really do. I like that they were, like, at each other's necks for a hot second. He's like, this is different than research. Formulas don't have feelings. And she's like, but all of them have been solved by humans and you know it. Oh, I love it. He's like, no, you don't understand. This is involving human emotion and it's different. And she's like, but humans solve problems and you should know there's a solution. I love it. Love it. So yeah, so he leaves. And she's like, no. Because Daru's like, is he hopeless? She's like, no. She's like, he's like me right now. He's at his wit's end. I love that shot of him being so, like, pouty and angry, where he's like, he's frustrated. He's so frustrated. I love that shot of him. She's like, I was like that. But if I didn't keep going, then I wouldn't be where I'm at today. So she's like, I know he'll come around. And then we get him and Mayuri on the bench. And she talks about, like, this conversation she's had, we've had it before in the series. And she's like, I felt like the lab used to have more people and it was more lively. And she's like, Okarin, I wonder if I made the wrong choice. If I should have sent you off instead. Yep. And this is the thing. What she says here is what's going to end up happening in the other world line. She's going to end up smacking him and telling him to go back and try again. She's going to be the one to do it. So I wonder if her, you know, because we established in Steins Gate with Kurisu, all the different versions of Kurisu all kind of intertwine. So this version of Mayuri is going to intertwine with the one that smacks him back in episode 23. Oh, that's so good. God, Mayuri's so sad. Instead of that, you gave up on everything. And of course, that's the last thing Okarin wants to hear. But she's like, because of me, you stopped coming and you look like you're suffering. The way they drew her, like, crying, like the tears and the starlight in her eyes, it looks like a constellation. It's so good. And he's like, everything's fine. And she's like, no, you're suffering. Everything is not fine. Oh. And then, yeah, the starlight. I love it. So pretty. The star called VEGA. Overseas, they call it something else. The arc light of the sky. I don't know if that's true. I don't know if they call it the arc light of the sky. I don't know if that's what it's named, but I like this episode. It's called Altair of the Point of Infinity, because, like, Okarin being the mortal, he's at the point where he has to make a choice of what do we try to do and can we solve this. That shot's probably going to be the thumbnail. That's gorgeous. Like that shot of her. Yep. Yep, and poor Okarin. You've made your bestie cry. You've made the girl that loves you cry. Get it together. Get it together, Okarin. Again, this is a really good episode. This is a really good episode. Now it's like, okay, well, what do we do about this? You clearly know that Mayuri is upset. You clearly know that Maho and Daru are going to go through with this. So what do we do? What's our next step? That's what we got to find out. So anyway, I'm really excited to see what we're going to get. So hopefully you all like this new setup. I feel like it's much more high def. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But anyway, I'm excited to hear your comments and thoughts down below. I hope you all have a wonderful week. Please stay safe. Take care. And yeah, I'm back very soon with episode 17 of Steins Gate 0. And I'll see you then. Bye. Time that we're having with Steins Gate.